A massive thank you to Gyre for sponsoring this video on Patreon. Aesi, Tyrant of Gyre Strait versus Jodah, Archamge Eternal. We'll keep that one. There's a lot of lands in there, but I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get into some ramp with us being on the play as well. We'll get an extra card draw. But just getting to a land on turn 1, let's drop Command Tower. We'll go for the Birds of Paradise. And that means we've got a turn 2 Scoot Swarm at least. Then our opponent holding up 2 mana, getting into Prophet of Kruphix isn't awful. Let's see if they've got counter magic for the Scoot Swarm. Rather it went on that than Prophet or the Tyrant. And getting into a third land, but still only on 2 colours. Let's go for the Verdant Catacomb, and we'll crack the Verdant Catacomb for, we'll just go for the tapped Breeding Pool. Should do that at the end of my opponent's turn, but I'm not bothered about holding up anything. And I'm not going to swing in because Azorius has a lot of flash stuff. It's not worth losing the Scoot Swarm for 1 point of damage. Now getting into 2 of their colours that they needed with Arcane Signet and now Forest as well. Let's go for a basic island. And we'll try and get down the Prophet of Kruphix. And we'll swing in with a couple of insects this time. Now with all 5 of their colours, after shocking in a Blood Crypt. Oh, Consecrated Sphinx. That is good against us. Nothing to flash in with the Prophet of Kruphix, unfortunately. Didn't start off with the best hand and continue to draw poorly. So we'll make another insect with the Scoot Swarm. And we'll get our commander down here. Then it is Misty Rainforest. We're going to feed our opponent a lot of cards here, unfortunately, but we just have to try and get something going. Well, there's Dark Depths. We've got Dark Depths and Thespian Stage, which we can try and get going next turn. So we're not out of the woods yet, but we're closer to it at least. Crack that for another land. And we're starting to get a lot of Scoot Swarms now as well. 40 lands in the deck, so it's not too surprising that we're just drawing into lands, but we'd like to draw into a little bit of something else. Let's get a couple of points of damage on our opponent again. We'll obviously lose an insect here. And now I Rishkar's Expertise just to draw even more cards to get a free spell with that at least. And it's into Skyshroud Claim, so they're just concentrating on ramping this turn, thankfully. Leaving the Consecrated Sphinx back. And they'll have to discard down to hand size. And what did they get rid of? Some lands and an Avacyn, Angel of Hope. We just get into more ramp. So it is Thespian Stage to draw us all even more cards, make even more Scoot Swarms. And now we've got Commander's Plate. We'll have protection from a bunch of our opponent's colours. Everything except for Simic colours in this case. Let's drop the Dark Depths and get even more triggers going. And just another land for us, unfortunately, so let's try and make the best of a bad situation. Well, it's not that bad a situation, but you know what I mean. We haven't drawn incredibly. But the Dark Depths off the top was pretty good. Go for the Rock and the Commander's Plate. And that is 3 to equip. If we're putting it on our commander. Just playing that card because it's new, to be honest. I don't know if I think all that much of it. It might just be better to have a Swiftfoot Boots in here instead. Because I'm not too sure how relevant the protection from colours is going to be when you could just have hexproof. I mean, the buff's nice, but it allows us to swing in here at least, doesn't it? So let's attack with all of our creatures, apart from those 2. And we've got mana to hold up on the Thespian Stage during our opponent's turn, even if we lose the Prophet of Kruphix. before the end of this turn. And blocking with the Consecrated Sphinx suggests that they've got a board wipe. That won't help them against the Thespian Stage combo. Well, exile all creatures would have worked against the Merit Lage, but luckily we are not going to get that exiled here because we haven't gone for it yet. We'll certainly put our commander back in the command zone. And then it is Migration Path for our opponent. I don't know if they've made a land yet. They might drop a Plains and exile our token with a Swords or something, so I'll just play it safe and leave it till the end step here. And there we go. So it's Thespian Stage onto Dark Depths. And then we choose which one we want to keep. We want to keep the one without any counters on it. And that triggers the Dark Depths to give us a 20/20 indestructible with flying. And our opponent obviously realises and scoops to that. So yeah, that was your pretty typical lands matter build in Simic. Very similar to Tatyova. I do have some slightly different things in here, like Storm Cauldron and Mana Bond, so that we can pretty much bounce all of our opponent's lands if they want to tap them for mana. And we'll bounce ours as well, but we can replay them quickly with all the additional lands that we can make in a turn. Let's see if we can play a game without just drawing into a fistful of lands. This time up against Gyre of the G2, and that is a slow start. A bit too slow against Gyre, I think. Yeah, we've got a lot of 2-mana stuff in here, and we don't seem to be drawing into it. There we go. Yeah, that's a lot better. Let's keep that. And I think we can risk getting rid of Beast Within, but apparently our opponent doesn't want to wait a few seconds to play, so let's try again. Right, let's try again. Anje Falkenrath this time. And again, we've got a lot of lands, which should be good with Lotus Cobra, so let's keep that one. We are on the play. Command Tower and Reflecting Pool go really well together. And then it is Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. So I think in that case we go Reflecting Pool into the Lotus Cobra. Rakdos Signet for our opponent, getting down some mana of their own. Yeah, we'll drop a Tropical Island first of all. And then let's play the Uro. Have to sacrifice it because it hasn't escaped. And I doubt we'll be playing it again before the mid to late game. But we can get a land into play, so let's go Reliquary Tower, which will trigger the Lotus Cobra. And with that, I think we just get down the Dryad of the Elysian Grove here, just because it's slightly more mana efficient. And then might as well swing in at our opponent as well. Our opponent managing to get down their commander before us, of course. It's only 3 mana to get that in. And Temple of the False God, they're a couple of lands away from having that be active. Cyclonic Rift can buy us a little bit of time, potentially. Not going to wasteland my opponent, so hopefully they don't scoop here. I'll tap it down for mana straight away, because we're just aiming to get down our commander. And no lands to play, unfortunately, so hopefully they don't have an answer for it. Let's just hold back. Plenty of means to play cards off the top in this deck, but obviously we need to actually draw into them. And now going for Dark Withering, which I think is -1/-1. Oh no, it's not. It is destroy target non-black creature, so there goes our commander. Put that back in the command zone. Might have to Cyclonic Rift our opponent's commander to buy ourselves some time. Okay, crop rotation isn't terrible, so we'll probably go for Gaia's Cradle with that. Let's drop the Wayward Swordtooth. And we're probably just going for Cyclonic Rift at the end of our opponent's turn, maybe? No, we'll go Arcane Signet for the crop rotation. At the end of our turn, Anja being activated with the Arms of the Vein. And that is just target opponent loses 3, you gain 3. Now I read the bones from our opponent, scry 2, lose 2, and draw 2. If they make a land here, they'll switch on the Temple. Then going for Madness with Reckless Worm this time. And deciding just to throw that in the bin, that would be 3 madness cost for a 4/4 trample. Just using it to draw a card, I think. Going up to 7 in hand, and they do have the 5 lands that they need for the temple now. Their madness again during the second main. This time it is Curse of Fool's Wisdom, that's a good one. So whenever we attack, we'll get drained for 2. And in response to all that, just so we can F6, I'll get rid of the Reliquary Tower and we'll grab ourselves a Gyre's Cradle. Oh, it triggers on card draw. I must be thinking of something else. Triggers on card draw, not on us attacking. Okay, so we obviously draw a card at the beginning of the turn. And we're going to draw even more this turn, hopefully. Go for our commander again. Oh, for Aesi, play a fetch that we've just ripped into. That's really good with both Lotus Cobra and the Aesi. Aesi, I don't know how you actually say that. Aesi. Yeah, anyway. We'll go blue on that one. Get ourselves into another land. We'll get drained for 2. Crack the Misty Rainforest, see what we draw into. Let's just drop ourselves a forest, doesn't matter while we've got the Dryad in play. Profit of Kruphix now. So we can hold up the Cyclonic Rift play perhaps. Let's drop this land. There is a Simic Growth Chamber for us, so we can just play that and bounce it over and over again if we struggle getting into lands. As for now, let's go for the Profit of Kruphix. Oh, we've still got a land to make, haven't we, thanks to the Wayward Swordtooth, so let's play that now. Simic Growth Chamber can bounce itself, but we'll see what we draw into first. It is a Whelming Wave, that might come in useful. Alright, and at that we can pass the turn and hold up the Cyclonic Rift. Might as well swing in with a 5/5. I doubt our opponent blocks this, so it's just a free 5 points of damage. Our opponent's gaining a lot of life with that enchantment. And they've got 8 cards in hand here as well. Oh, Crick's Son of Yawgmoth now, that might spell trouble for us. Using some of that life up at least. Yeah, they're tapping out for something. That is Archfiend of Ifnir. Yeah, we'll let the plus counter go on there. And hopefully they pass priority to us. No, they're going for something here. That is Madness on Stromkirk Occultist. And they just bin that, so just going to rely on the Archfiend of Ifnir to get rid of our stuff here. We will go for the Rift. Because they are tapped out now. And now that they've got a few lands as well, it might be worth going for the Wasteland onto the Temple of the False God. We don't screw up their colours doing that. We will lose our Lotus Cobra here. So everything getting bounced back, minus counters on all of our stuff. And they'll still be able to draw a card with the Anje. How many cards is it to escape with this? I think it's 5. Yeah, 5. So we could go for the Uro for extra card draw if we wanted. There's an extra beater to go in at our opponent with as well. And there's an Ash Barrens from our opponent. I think I'll hold on to the Wasteland for now. Let's see what we draw into with the Simic Growth Chamber. Our opponent having to discard to hand size. They can't do anything with that, but it's Violent Eruption. They've discarded Crit, curiously. The Rakdos Signet as well. And we know about the Occultist. We get into another land. Let's go for the Simic Growth Chamber first. We can always get that land out with Uro. And just another land. So let's go for the Simic Growth Chamber again. And it's another land. So we'll try once more. And another land. Well, I think it's definitely Uro then. Good to clear those off the top with the Simic Growth Chamber though. And once more, we can make 1, 2, 3, 4... Yeah, 4 lands a turn, so this will be the last one. And Thespian Stage, well, it's a combo piece at least. So, clearing a bunch of lands off, let's go for the Uro. And we'll exile these from the graveyard. And it'll stay in play this time. We gain some life, and we'll just put the island into play. Which gets us into exploration, so that's another land to drop. Not going to play the Mana Crypt if we don't need to. Let's just go for Thespian Stage. Alright, Teferi's Ageless Insight. I don't mind seeing that one bit, especially against a Rakdos deck that isn't likely to do anything about it. So now we're off to the races. Good to clear all those lands off the top. The Simic Growth Chamber did a lot of work for us there. Let's turn everything sideways at our opponent. They really want to see a board wipe at this point. And I wonder, yeah, I think at this point as well we want to go after that Temple of the False God just so they've got less mana. Losing 2 mana is a lot. And they've got their colours, like I said, so I don't mind doing that. Going for their Anje straight away, that does have haste. But they are going for a Madness Cost, from under the floorboards. I think they have to pump mana into that. Yeah, I don't know if the Madness Cost is X on that, we'll soon find out. Yeah, 2 and X for the Madness Cost, so nothing they can do with that one. It will draw them a card though. And the deck is rammed full of Madness cards, as you would expect. This time, Gorgon of Recluse, which is a 2/4. When it blocks or becomes blocked by a non-black creature, destroy that creature at the end of combat. And something else, so they're obviously digging. This time, Malevolent Whispers. That one is gain control of a target creature, and they would have had the mana for that had we not have gone after their temple. So they could have gained control of a creature. Even more madness. And they're deciding to just discard the Curse of Fool's Wisdom. That's really good. They've gone down to 15 life, up from the 40 that they were at. Getting into a land, so maybe they've got a Toxic Deluge they can go for. Our opponent valiantly playing it out. They're not out of the woods yet. We'll just make the Thespian Stage a copy of the Tropical Island. Probably won't be relevant, but we might be eager for more coloured mana, so I'll just do that now. It keeps the ability anyway, so we can always do it once we get into the Merit Lage land. Another land for us, I think. Yeah, we don't need Mana Crypt really. Let's go for the Growth Chamber again. Bounces itself. We'll draw 2 cards this time, thanks to the Teferi's Ageless Insight. Okay, there is Kodama of the East Tree. I think I'm eager to get that out, so let's go for the Mana Crypt. We'll see what this new card does. And we'll go Simic Growth Chamber. That will trigger our Aesi and the Kodama of the East Tree, so we'll be able to actually get these lands into play now. So let's drop an island with the Kodama. That will trigger our commander again. And we'll draw 2 cards per trigger, drawing 4 there. Take the bounce land back to hand. And I think we're okay to actually just play lands here, aren't we? Let's go Wooded Foothills. Kodama will trigger, allowing us to get another land into play. There's Ugin, so that's really good. This has spelt the end for our opponent here, I think. Drop a forest into play with the Kodama, triggering our commander again. So now we're drawing a lot of cards. Go for a fetch. And we just do this until we run out of land drops, really. But Kodama pretty much says that whenever we play a land, we get to play another one. Which goes superbly with our commander and Teferi's Ageless Insight. Play a land again. I think that's the last one for this turn. Oh, and therefore even more landfall is an Ashaya. It's not necessarily the cleverest thing to do to play into a board wipe, but I think we're going to be able to respond to one okay. Or recover from a board wipe okay if we do see one, so let's just lean into it, get Ashaya down. That's 15-15. Oh no, it's not, it's a 22-22. That triggers Kodama. Actually could have just gone straight in for the Ugin there and gotten Kodama down for free. First time playing with Kodama, so need to be wary of things like that. So with that, let's get down we'll get down that for free. Which comes down as a land creature, so it triggers Aesi straight away. It will bring in its own land as well. Not many basics left, about 5 left in the deck. And the elf bringing a land in will trigger the Aesi, it will trigger Kodama again, so if you wanted to know why everyone was so excited about Kodama of the East Tree, I think you're witnessing it here. And we've got counter magic back up now as well. We can make landfall again with Oracle if we want to, but I think we just need to get round to actually doing something towards winning this game, so let's go for the Ugin, and we can actually get down Oracle for free there. Should be able to turn in sideways our opponent here. Kodama triggers, gets us into extra landfall in Oracle of Muldaya, and that comes down as a land, as do all of our creatures. Let's Lightning Bolt the Anje out of the way. And our opponent scoops at that, that's fair enough. We had 5, 9, 10 and 16 points of damage on them there without the Lightning Greaves. So all we had to do there when we remove the blocker is turning sideways at them. Could also have gotten down the Lightning Greaves and put it on the now 26-26 if we wanted to. So yeah, apparently we're getting some really good Lands Matter cards from Zendikar Rising and Commander Legends. And not only is Aesi a cool new Tatyova commander, but apparently Kodama of the East Tree is pretty damn good as well. Who would have thought? I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.